Welcome back to Fast Market. I'm Diane King Hall here at the New York Stock Exchange alongside Kevin Hanks over at the SIBO. Time now for our cash tags segment. For that, I want to bring in our next guest. That's Andy Swan of Likefolio. We're taking a look at Tesla. Today, it's got an analyst on the bullish side over at Wedbush boosting its price target to a street high of 550. Now, Andy, Wedbush thinks that a looser regulatory environment under the Trump administration will help Tesla. In other words, push forward its AI and robotics plan. So, Andy, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a tailwind for Tesla. I think, you can just look at the fact Elon Musk bet very big on this election, and he won. And I think that there's good reason to think he will continue to win with this new administration in place. And that is a deregulated environment that allows not just the AI part of things, but also the full self-driving features that Tesla has rolled out. And the path to the autonomous vehicles, the autonomous taxis rolling out, I think has just gotten a lot clearer with a Trump administration rather than one that's a little more heavy-handed from a regulation side. As far as Likefolio data goes, we're seeing Tesla kind of buck what everybody thought was happening, which is everybody thought that Tesla was getting less popular via its founder, or not its founder, but its CEO's political takes. What we're seeing is that web visits are up year over year. App usage is up year over year considerably. And we look at the app usage of Tesla as a really kind of cool metric in terms of Tesla being a viral kind of word of mouth product, because what Tesla's integrated into the app are some really cool features that pretty much no other car in the world has, such as the ability for the car to come pick you up from its parking spot to the door of the restaurant that you're just leaving. And so that type of word of mouth, viral type of feature set in the app is starting to grow in usage. And that means more and more people getting exposed to Tesla. So we maintain our multi-year, infinitely long bullish position on Tesla. This is absolutely a must-own stock, we believe, and just a winner led by a winner that will continue to win.
Andy, I think there's been some news headlines out over the last several weeks, and one just lately since Donald Trump was put in office, that are worrisome if you're not paying attention to the EV market. And here's what I mean: the tax credit that's going away, and the EV mandate that Trump did away with. Elon Musk doesn't care about an EV mandate. If you're growing an organic company and your goal is to put out a $25,000 car this year, you don't care about a tax credit and you don't care about an EV mandate. You're growing organically, and the big prize, like you just mentioned, is full self-driving. Now, Rivian is sold off pretty hard after this news, and Tesla is obviously down off its highs and having a two-day sell-off here. Why are investors getting that wrong if these companies intend to grow organically like they have been?
Well, I just think, it does provide a short-term headwind that wasn't there a few months ago. I think you have to acknowledge that, anytime the government's paying $7,500 towards the purchase price instead of the customer, it's going to impact demand. But, Tesla is in a unique position because, we don't really consider Tesla an EV company, really. We consider it an AI company at this point. The full self-driving is now to the point of being fairly incredible. And, what we're seeing year after year is Tesla expand its lead over the rest of the competition. And by the rest of the competition, I mean every other automaker on earth. And I think that the quality of the product starting to stand out to people in a way that makes it less about EV credits or EV mandates and more about just, like you said, the quality of the product and competing in the overall automotive market and soon to be the overall robo-taxi market, where I think Tesla has a much more significant lead than anyone's giving them credit for.
Andy, okay, so to play devil's advocate here, if you will, because you said, in terms of the competitive landscape, they are still currently competing in the EV market. And, they had that year-over-year annual decline in deliveries, and that still did matter at the time when that came out. So when you have, you have extreme views on both sides of this, on both sides of Tesla. You have the critics who heavily criticize the company, and then you have those who are very bullish around the company. And one of the arguments on the critical side is, the delivery numbers do matter, and then the competitive landscape, especially last year, was challenged by pricing pressure, especially from Chinese EV makers. So how much does that matter now?
Well, I think if you have a short-term window, then it definitely matters. I think if you have a long-term window, then I would say that, I'm extremely glad that we didn't listen to the critics of Tesla 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or today. I think that continues into the future. I think there will always be critics of Tesla because it puts out, what Elon loves to do is put out a really bold vision that has a big prize at the end of it, and has a very short time frame attached to it, knowing that that coming up short on any or all of those metrics still puts that company in a superior position versus the competition. And so I think it's easy to criticize some of the ambitious plans that Tesla has. I think that you'll probably be right if you bet against the timelines that he puts out when he initially puts ideas out. But at the end of the day, is the company going to be better than its competitors? Is it going to be able to produce cars at far cheaper prices than its competitors? I mean, no one thought that the Model Y would be the best-selling car in the world when it first came out, but here we are. And so I think you just have to continue to bet on winners and continue to kind of ignore the critics as much as you can. But, Tesla is one of the best companies the world has ever seen, and with one of the best entrepreneurs the world has ever seen at the head of it. And so it's really difficult to make the case for me that you should bet against a company like that simply because of some short-term turbulence.
Andy, one last question before we let you go. If you're an investor looking at Tesla as a stock, what's the next story that you should be focusing on? Is it full self-driving? Is it robo-taxi? Is it Optimus robots? Is it energy storage? All those parts of Tesla, in your opinion, what's the most important? What do you think is the next one that'll hit big?
Yeah, I think the full self-driving and the robo-taxi kind of go together. I think that the full self-driving technology, as a user of it, I can tell you the improvement in that experience and the safety of that experience has been exponential. What's happened over the last 3 or 4 months has been incredible. We've gone from it being like a 17-year-old kind of stupid driver to a fairly competent adult driver that's paying attention all the time. So I think that full self-driving and robotaxi is probably here a lot sooner than people think. It's an enormous market if you just look at what is happening on the Uber side of the equation. So that's the big one for us. And then I think it kind of dominoes out from there, because what people don't understand is once full self-driving is truly autonomous, then all of a sudden Tesla can offer it for free if you insure your car through Tesla. There's a domino effect that goes all the way out into this enormous plan that Elon Musk has. And so far, so good. A little slower sometimes than we like, but the trajectory is correct, and the target is very high and very large.
Yeah, and I think, Andy, you made a great point earlier about the timing targets that often can be ambitious, which Elon Musk has acknowledged in the past. Andy Swan, co-founder of Likefolio, thanks a ton